Hello everybody. So this is my energy update from my tree stump. Now, any of you that are watching my video that was prior to this, like, gosh, first of all, thank you to so many of you that held my space while I was going through the loss of my avatar tree, which is where I'm sitting now. He is, because it was a masculine and feminine tree, my world actually. This is my world. I didn't expect this tree to be cut down, but that was the process. The last video was talking about the splitting of the timeline, which is why this magnificent tree split. And then for 2 days, I actually thought that the divine feminine aspect of the tree that was left standing, I thought, well, that's okay. You know what I mean? We're going to be all right there, you know? And then we had this absolute freak storm, act of God, came in and was just like, right, now you're ready for part 2. She's got to come down. And I didn't expect that at all. And just as I kind of gathered myself, I suppose in a way, Spirit's still quite loving. They gave me a day's grace with my grief, and then I kind of really plunged into it. And I watched this tree be cut down, which I thought was really, really important to face that transmutation, disintegration of the old timeline, which is what I think what this tree represented, plus a whole lot of other stuff. Now, there's a whole video that will probably be coming on tree magic, because I journaled the whole experience as the tree was cut down and put all my pain on the pages, then kind of alchemically decoded it, and then came up for air after it. Do you know what I mean? And it's still taking me a while to process the loss of this beautiful being, because this is how much we're holding on to the old timeline. I thought this was really profound, that I was holding on to the old timeline, didn't want to let the old timeline go. And then, like, since my beautiful tree's been cut down, I have a place now. I mean, I'm going to show you in a minute, like this, what's been left, the tree trunk, is a massive heart. I really didn't want to come into the garden after she'd been cut down to see what she looked like. And there's a big heart. And I was like, well, I can work with that. She's still here, you know? And now the garden is full of sun and full of light. I can see the mountains behind. So I know what this all means. But what I want to focus on now for the purpose of the video, to kind of encourage others to, if they are holding on, let it go, man. Because I was holding on to this tree so much. So as the tree was being cut down, I was going through this process of like, well, you know what this tree represents. There's so many offerings at this tree. It was all the energy over the past 5 years of just putting it in, putting it in, putting it in. I mean, let's face it, the intensity of the ascension process, if you can equate it, 4 years, give or take, of dark nights of the soul. And so 5 years ago, I came to this property, and that's when my journey started with this beautiful being. And we were very contracted for that. So it's almost like we did something together to collapse the old timeline, because now we came to this point, this critical timeline of ascension. She split 2 days and then completely cut down. So that is the most beautiful form of alchemy of what it is to go through the death and rebirth cycle, to be born anew. And now there's a completely brand new version of him, which is actually now a massive heart. So that's essentially heart of one, okay? Heart of one. And there's so much sunlight. And, you know, it's all good. But letting go of the tree, letting go of all of that old shit. I mean, like, you know, all of the energy was in this tree. And it was like, right, we've done now. I've embodied it. And then I wouldn't let it go. And then when I did eventually let it go, there was a very, very powerful energy that I went through, with understanding that everything we connect with out there, that we are attached to, connected to, being this tree now embodied within me. And I felt this very, very grounded energy, and I've been in that space ever since, very, very grounded. So I've become the tree. So this is very symbolic of our process of where we're at now, because remember, ascension speaks that we go up. But it's not. Ascension is actually in the body. So we're not dropping the body anymore to die and go up to the stars and come back again. Karma can be cleared in this lifetime, if pretty much done. Do you know what I mean? For a lot of us. So which means the party's here. We don't have to drop the body to leave and come back. We kind of drop the old body in this lifetime, just like this tree has done. He dropped the old body so she could be transformed into this powerful heart-shaped example of just pure love, upgraded, not rotting anymore. She's still here, he's still here, the energy's still here, it's just in a different form, it's upgraded. So isn't that crazy that I was holding on to this tree, holding on to the darkness of my garden, because everything was always overshadowed with this massive tree here. yet such a powerful presence of being safe and held. But what is also interesting as well, since this transition of us going through the old timeline to the new timeline, is this tree was massive, blocked the sun, but I didn't look at it like that. It was just magical, this tree. But it kept me kind of like quite cocooned. I was surrounded by forests, surrounded by oak tree leaves and everything like that. And I was happy like that. So in a way, that's kind of like bringing up the hermit. So the hermit, many of us are hermits. I mean, every single light worker pretty much is. We love people, as in the consciousness, but we don't like people, as in the people. So we much prefer to sort of like stay hidden behind our little recluse places. Do you know what I mean? So that was very interesting, where I was just like, wow, okay, I'm being propelled into the light. Now, so we speak about the process of holding on to what we don't want. Of course we don't, you know, we want the new, but I'm just going to hold on to the old. What does that serve you? Familiarity. You know how the old works. You know what the middle, beginning and ending looks like, sounds like, feels like. But this whole light and lots of sun in the garden and this whole expansiveness, this tree has left so much space. Now that makes me a little bit unnervy, because I'm like, what do I need all this space for? What's coming in? I don't know what's going on. And it triggers your control. And then you start to become very well aware as to why you were holding on to the old, because you were controlling, okay? That can't happen anymore. So with this tree, when it fell and I watched each branch get cut down, each branch that got cut, I surrendered. And I surrendered and I surrendered. And it's not easy, people. It's not easy. And it's taking some time to integrate the new reality of what this garden looks like, the new reality of what life is like without this big tree, because this tree has been here for 200 years, if not longer. 200 years. It's a lot. You know what I mean? So you've been stuck in this old lifetime way of being for more than 200 years. Do you know what I'm saying? So now, of course, be a bit gentle with yourself, a bit loving with yourself as to why you're a bit reluctant to go into the new, because that means that you've got to be completely surrendering into the love of one. You have to now embrace that you are, in fact, Christ consciousness, that you are the Christed one, as am I. But like, you know, but that unworthiness, let me just hold on to that, because that's, I know how that works. That kind of keeps me warm at night, but not really. Do you know what I mean? So we're stuck between this precipice. So when this tree fell, can you hear that? That's the hawks. Horus is here. Amazing. Visionary. Hawk medicine, love it. But you know, this is the whole thing. This is like, you know, the process that we walk through, and you can't speed up this process of death. You have to give yourself so much love as you walk this process, because you know what? It was never going to be as easy as like, oh, timeline's dropped, let's go into the new. We have to get used to breathing that new oxygen. Liken yourself to a brand new born baby, okay? We can't just basically say, right, they're born, why aren't you running? And why aren't you putting your own shoes on? Like, why are you still sleeping? Do you know what I mean? Why are you still in a nappy? What's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? Can't you do things for yourself anymore? I mean, we don't do that, do we? We help our children to kind of like birth into something. We help them get used to things, knowing what that food tastes like. You know what I mean? Giving them, just surrounding them with so much love, nurturing them and loving them, so they become these beautiful, beautiful light body beings. That's what we do. So we need to expect that of ourselves, to be super gentle as you tentatively step out of the shadow into the light. It's going to take some getting used to. It's no different to living in Alaska and then moving to Africa. It's going to take some, like, you know, adjustments to the temperature, and you're going to do it bit by bit. So gentle, gentle, gentle is the key. So now we need to move into this quiet space, which is going to take us into January. Very, very, very powerful energy. And very expansive, and it's go time, and away we go. So no wonder we've got this rest period, as it were, as we've kind of like going through the death process, getting used to that. You know, let's just be still and be chill over December, and then when we get into January, completely different. So really understand the process of becoming. Don't be too hard on yourself. And also as well, what is coming through very, very strongly, Mary Magdalene, I will share it when I have time to kind of like, because right now I'm in my bubble, but she came through today. Hawk is going nuts. I love it. Bring the medicine, bring the medicine. So she was talking about how we have now come into the womb. They call it from the tomb to the womb. How amazing is that? From the tomb to the womb. Death, rebirth, resurrection. And she was saying, as we deep dive into the waters, That is where we access the other world, not the underworld, the other world. Now the other world is known as Anwen. It's also in the Druid Celts understanding, and it's also as well the other world, trying to think of some other names, but we all understand it cross-pollinates through philosophies and everything like that. That other world, okay, is all about living, it's a world that exists where people aren't sick, people live pretty long lives, if not immortal lives, feasting, festivities, love, everybody just gets along, community. It's this beautiful, beautiful other world. Now that, people, is union. That is what this is all about. This is why my masculine side of the tree fell, pregnant pause, feminine tree fell, coming into oneness, completely transmuted, alchemized, and now this tree doesn't stand. It's like it never existed, but I'm sitting on this heart tree stump. Union. It's all about union. So this is where we're at right now. This is what we're moving through. So we are coming into union, which is very, very tentative process. So just allow that to happen. But the end game is us living in a world, for those who choose it, because the timeline is fit. You might be on that side, probably not if you're watching this video, but we are choosing to be in union, which means, what does the world look like? We always think about Atlantis and things like that, because, you know, we go back to those timelines. What does it look like in a modern timeline to you? What does it feel like? That is where we're at. And this other world is like literally around the corner. It's right there. So Mary Magdalene spoke about us going into the water, into the womb of the well water. And when we get to that place, we're so flipping close. Because masculine is all about tree energy, okay? Water is all to do with womb energy, feminine, okay? Now to access the other world, you have to go through the mists, or you go through the water, the well, or a portal. I mean, I did a channel the other day on the Nile, and we were going deep diving into the Nile. Now that's a huge portal of note. So you go through the water and you come out the other side, you're in the other world. But if you're going into the womb, it means you've come back full circle. So you can only come back into the womb if you've agreed to union, right? Because you've done the masculine, you've done all of that. You know what I mean? And you've relinquished control and gone through the bullying aspects of what the shadow part of masculine has. So just by releasing that allows the masculine to heal and take its place. So that's been released. So you're like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Now you're coming into the womb, then that actually brings you into a place of just like being reborn again, the beginning. You're coming back to the darkness, the well, you know, the womb. So what comes after that? The other world. The other world, you know? So anyway, that's my share, and the full moon is very much taking us to this. There's so much more I want to speak about, but I think that's good for now, because I want to show you, I'd like to show you my upgraded version, my union tree. I'm going to call it my union tree now. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Okay, can you see? I can't turn my camera around because I'll cut the video off, but I think you can see there, you can see it's a heart. There we go. If I do a back bend like that, you can see it. Yeah? Now, that was the tree that you saw me standing on that was here. And that, hello bear. And that's it. Look how much sun is in my garden. This is the new earth. Let's stand back on my tree stump now. You know? And this is where I'll do a lot of my videos, from my tree stump. And just standing here is very healing and cathartic. So thanks guys for listening to me. And like, you know, I'm encouraged to come out here and do a video. But yeah, so much love to you all. And this is a very powerful time. So go into the womb. There is nothing to do. Don't mess with it. Don't do anything with the frequency. Don't do anything. It's not about doing. It's about being. So don't feel that you need to kind of get involved in the process, because that is going to hinder the process. Okay. So just let go. Let go. Absorb my words. And I'll post again on the next phase. I love you. Thank you for watching, and thank you again for all your lovely words and support, because it's been a time, and I love you all for that. So thank you for being at my side, because that meant ever such a lot. Peace.